Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop for part 4 of building a giant sword for How Ridiculous and their YouTube channel. Be sure to check them out.
Alrighty, here is the sword we finished forging in the last episode. It's huge! Here is the guard that I messed up by overheating and crumbling it.
We're gonna put another piece of aluminium in the saw and see how guard number 2 goes.
So I ended up forging out the guard a little bit bigger, and I'm really excited for how it looks. I think it matches the proportions a whole lot better. Next step, right here, the pommel. Change of plan. Mr. Stelter over here needs the lathe.
I need to make the buttons to hold the Isaiah together on my pizza cutter.
If you didn't hear that, he's making the buttons to hold the Isaiah together on his pizza cutter.
I'm quite confused. I hope in watching his pizza cutter videos, you'll understand better than I currently understand. But I have other things I can do, like grind the blade. So let's grind the blade. Just a little. We're not gonna be able to grind the whole thing. We're gonna grind just a little bit, because we need to grind about an anvil's worth of material off of this thing. Right, I'm at the lathe. It's now free, and we can come out of the grinding room and work on our pommel piece. And it's well needed, because that amount of grinding is hot and sweaty, difficult work. But it's made better by a recent improvement that we've made. Check this out. This here is a fan. Pretty cool. That fan is blowing air into the grinding room. And that fan is sucking air out, which is super cool. It means that we now have airflow in the grinding room, so on these hot summer days, it cools it down. It's also super cool because it means that a lot of the huge amount of dust that big grinder makes gets sucked out. So that is just fantastic, an awesome improvement that we've been able to make here at the workshop, which I'm really happy for. I'm really sad that I didn't prioritize making this improvement sooner. Back at the lathe, this is our general idea. We have this round little billet of aluminium. We're going to poke a hole in it, and we're then going to cut some threads in it. I want this thing to screw on to the tang of the sword, and we're then going to do a boatload of machining and grinding to turn this into a round pommel, which I absolutely can't draw, but I might be able to make, so we'll just do that. Ow, that's hot. To do that, we would need to use this internal threading boring bar. This thing is a little on the chunky side. This is no skinny boring bar. And it doesn't fit. The threading tool doesn't get in the hole. We wasted that beautiful montage. Unless I've got a way around this. But you see, what I lack in intelligence, I make up for in willingness to destroy perfectly usable bits of precision tooling. So though this doesn't fit, we're gonna make it fit. With hearing protection. Righty. Righto, power hammer made short work of that. Let's see how this goes. So our threading tool is now in place, and we'll see, does it fit in the hole? After that power hammer modification, yes it does. Lovely. Next step is we need to make heads, tails, middles, all of it from this dial to mean that we can cut a 14 tooth per inch thread. We're doing a 1 inch 14 tooth thread. That'll mean that this 1 inch all thread is going to be able to screw into it. So we're going to use this to be able to test it. It does mean that there's no room for messing up. We need to make an actual 1 inch 14 thread. It has been almost 2 years since I played with the dials on this machine. A year and a half. I last touched these dials, I think, when I was working out how to use the equipment for the first time. So here we go. We'll unlock that. Oh, there we go. That's the way. 14 threads per inch. That's what we want. So to the middle, threads per inch, 14. Across we go. 14 is letter C. We're currently in letter A, B, yes, C, there we go. I think we're currently in feeds. We need to get into threads. So, oh, that's not turning. What if I loosen this? Yes! Let's see what happens when we turn it on now. These are meant to be turning. This is how we control the thread cutting. It's on that lead screw. If that's not turning, it's a problem. So, something's not good. Oh! Yes! Look at that! We did it! I don't know how we did it, but we did it. I gotta put this in its neutral setting. That disengages these handles from normally moving the carriage. Then this is how we engage the lead screw for it to cut a thread. Have a look at this. What's happening is this lever, I believe, is engaging a half nut onto that lead screw to now push the carriage. I'll demonstrate by scratching on this Sharpie line. If I bring the tool in to rub on the outside of the bar and I engage the lead screw, this should be cutting a 14 thread per inch groove. There's a technique to this. My old lathe in the UK had what's called a thread cutting attachment, which meant I didn't need to control how the thread was locked in to the hole. It's confusing, but it had a thread cutting attachment. This doesn't have it. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that once I'm locked onto this lead screw, I either never unlock and move around on the lead screw, or I only ever relock into the lead screw at the appropriate number on this dial. Otherwise, you can imagine, you could end up wanting to cut this thread here, and then end up cutting it half on it, half off it type of thing because you're in the wrong place on the lead screw. It's confusing stuff. I really don't understand it a whole lot, but I do know I'm gonna have to stay locked into the lead screw or stick to the numbers, so it's a little more complex than any threading I've done in the past, and I don't think I've ever done any internal threading, so it's bound to be a whole world of fun as we get into it. Use my calipers to confirm this is 14 threads an inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, pretty close. I can even compare the bar of 14 thread per inch I have to it, and it looks perfect. Threading on the outside, you can see what you're doing. Threading on the inside, you can't see what you're doing. So this is gonna be a challenge, but I'm excited to give it a shot. Threading an ID, here we go. Here's the moment of truth. Does it thread? Oh my goodness. It actually threads. I'm completely shocked. First time, I didn't need to go back in it. I don't need to do any of that. Folks, I don't know what's happened and where the real Alec's gone. But apparently this one here has managed to put an internal thread on something. Holy mackerel. That is one thread in one hole. Okay, next thing that we've got to do is regrettably jump back in the grinding room and make some more progress on that big sword. Because I've been putting it off and putting it off and I haven't actually been putting it off that much, but we do need to get it done. All right, we've got like this much left of the sword to grind. What I'm gonna do now is we're gonna start on the milling machine to get onto the pommel. Start inching our way forwards on this.
You see, we've used a V-block to secure it down. We've got ourselves a big old cutter.
We're just gonna start removing a whole lot of material. Easy peasy. Well, came unattached from its collet, but we have a hole drilled in it. Very exciting. Can I just say, were they not the coolest shots ever? I think they were the coolest shots ever. Well done, Isaiah. We've been trying to make you some good cinematographical awesomeness in this video. Hope it's paying off. And this is all to distract you from what these next 2 minutes are going to be, which is me letting you know that I'm an idiot. You will remember in our last episode, Mr. Alec all of a sudden became very smug as he proceeded to let the whole world know that because aluminium was derived from alumina by Mr. Davy in 1808, and because he was English and because the spelling of aluminium is the English spelling, therefore me saying aluminium is okay. Well, you know what happens when you're an idiot? You do stupid things. So I've done a stupid thing, which is I looked at the top result on Google, didn't really look too much further into it. There's actually a really fascinating story about this, which you commenters have kindly educated me on. So let's show you. To begin with, Mr. Eric Mitchell commented, saying, "Too long didn't read, real gangsters call it aluminum." So, aluminium was not the first proposed name of the element, and it wasn't the one that was selected by Davy. Humphrey Davy wrote a textbook, and he did refer to it as aluminum again, and finalized the spelling. But, 1812, Thomas Young suggested that aluminum had a less classical sound, and he suggested it should be aluminium. What we're looking at, folks, as evidence also by Kolbunkmus and his comment, Zev Veli and his comment, Maxi Fuqua and her comment, and Leuz, I have goofed up. And in fact, what we're talking about is a schism, whereby certain people want to sound a little smarter than they are by calling it aluminium, and certain other people just want to call it what the inventor himself wanted to call it. He wanted to call it aluminum. So we're gonna do the thing with the hands that you guys actually come here for. You don't come here for history. And we're gonna take this thing, this block of aluminum, I'm gonna finalize shaping it into a pommel. So we got the pommel ground up out of this aluminium. It's looking really nice. Some of our next steps include finishing the grinding on the sword, and then of course working on our guard before we get to the final assembly. I really hope that you guys go and subscribe to this channel, of course, if you enjoy these videos, but more importantly, go subscribe to the How Ridiculous channel, so that once we ship this thing to Australia, that's right, we have to ship this monstrous object to Australia. Once we ship it there, you're gonna be able to see How Ridiculous drop it on all sorts of awesome things. So be sure to subscribe to their channel so you can see it. In other news, check out this awesome shirt. It's a dragon with our anvil, and it is just fantastic. We are launching these dragon anvil shirts on the website, and we've only got a limited number of them. We only got 200 of them, and so grab them while you can. These ones are shipping from our warehouse, so we're gonna be entering these into inventory. The shipping chaps are gonna have to work on all this stuff. But a cool little tidbit about this design is if you're a fan of How Ridiculous, you might know their Rexy t-shirt design. Well, these designs were designed by the same person. These are designed by Jack's Dav Arts. So if you're a fan of How Ridiculous, you're a fan of us, perfect way to get yourself 2 shirts, one of these, one of the Rexy shirts. Happy days. Great, check out the website down below. Don't forget guys, go check out Native in the link below to get yourself some natural deodorant, 33% off your 3-pack. Thanks again, Native. Thank you guys. See you all soon. Bye-bye.